so that you get a sense of that. If it will open up for me. There you go. Okay, so this is an SQLite database manager, and I've already preloaded the database that I exported, or one very similar to it. It's not exactly the same database. It's exactly the same format. And what this shows is the database and all the tables that are in it. So there are a set of tables, and I can look at, and I'm going to pick the heating as an example. This is, if you look up here, it says structure. Then these are all the fields.
Yes.
And if I pick the data, it will show me all of the data in that particular table. So here are fuel types, system types, thermostat types. And so all the data that was collected in all of those audits, in this case 21 audits, you'll see up here it says total rows 21. All the data is there. Now the real value of this is that all of this data for heating and hot water and the house and lighting and location is all here, and I can create queries to open up certain views of it. So I'm going to open up a view here of the heating condition, and this is a query I created actually just before this session, and it pulls out just 3 fields, which is the fuel, thermostat type, and condition.
Oh, yeah.
For those entries that have a fuel, and ignores everything else.
So and we define those views.
Correct. They're just they're queries.
Right.
So in this case, I'll just show you the query. I don't know if you're familiar with query database queries at all, but this is the query that generated that data set. And it's select the fuel, thermostat type, and condition, which are the 3 fields, from the heating table where fuel type is not equal to null string or blank string.
Okay.
And so you can create as extensive a query as you want and pull out only the data fields that you want. And in this particular case, like I say, this is the result of that query.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be, all right, so I'm going to need a few, either I'm going to be able to Google this, or there's going to be a formula creation.
It's an SQL creation as opposed to Excel spreadsheet formulas, but and I don't know if you have an IT department or staff that can help you that are familiar with databases. If you have anybody that's familiar with databases, the knowledge is pretty transferable. I haven't used this before, but I've used Access extensively, and the language, the SQL language, which is the query language, is virtually identical across multiple databases.
Okay, I'm going to be hiring someone who's going to be helping with this, so I guess what would be useful is to figure out how to identify someone who's who can do this.
Yeah, see if they have some database experience.
Yeah.
But the key here is that all the data is at your fingertips. You have the ability to extract as much as, and you know, when you're talking about by auditor, well, the auditor information is in this table here. Right place. So in this case, it's all Brian McGinn, but here's the auditor name. So the data is all there. You just write the queries, and when I say just write the queries, if you're a database programmer, that's really not that hard to do, but if you aren't, it will take you a little while to get used to it. But you have a lot of power there because then you can slice and dice any way you want to.
Right.
It's much more powerful than a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet will give you all the data, and if you're looking at a small data set, it's useful as a quick look. It's not as useful when you start getting a couple hundred audits out there.
Right. No, this is great.
So that's the main thing that I wanted to bring up. There's one other thing. Get out of here.
While you're doing that, how will we, where will
be your audits. You won't see audits from Monroe or Wilson or Electricities.